Hey everyone, it's me, Matt. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing great, and I hope you're ready to garden with me today because in today's video, we're planting dahlia tubers. So let's get into it. So starting off, here's the dahlia tubers I picked up for today's project. I got these from Home Depot earlier this week. You can see I picked up a variety of colors ranging from pink, purple, blue, white, and magenta. So I've got a total of 6 dahlia varieties here. There's 2 in each box. This first box here has a white snow country tuber and a magenta metro star tuber. This second box has 1 periwinkle blue blue boy tuber and 1 white and lavender crazy love tuber. And then this third box has a soft pink creme de cassis tuber and a deep purple Thomas Edison tuber. So right now is the perfect time to plant dahlia tubers here in Central Florida. You want to get them in the ground after your average last frost date. For my area, it's best to plant them around the February and March timeframe. This will allow enough time for the plants to establish a strong root system before the intense summer heat arrives. So unboxing these tubers, they come packaged in plastic bags filled with a combination of peat moss and wood shavings. This helps keep the tubers dry and protected until they're ready to be planted. You can see these tubers are actually pretty big. There's multiple tubers in each bunch. This helps guarantee nice, healthy plants, but if you wanted to, you can actually divide these tubers and get more bang for your buck. If you choose to divide your tubers, you want to make sure you separate them so they've got at least one tuber, a neck, and most importantly, an eye. The eyes are actually the growth points for the foliage, and if you cut the tubers off without including one, nothing will grow. So I'm not going to divide my tubers, but if you decide to divide yours, make sure to let the cut ends of the tubers dry out and callus over before planting them, otherwise they could rot. So I did want to mention there's one downside to the way these are packaged. Like I said, there's 2 different varieties in each box, but you can't tell which tuber is which variety. They're unmarked. So if you wanted a specific color for a certain area of your garden, you've got a 50-50 chance at getting it right. Another option is to start the tubers in containers and wait until they bloom. Then you can transplant them out into your garden. But for me, I'm not really concerned about the specific color. I bought these 6 varieties knowing they'd all look good anywhere in my front landscape. So talking through plant placement, you want to plant your dahlia tubers in full sun areas. Although here in Central Florida, they definitely appreciate a little afternoon shade, especially as we get into our really hot summer months. These plants also get really big. They can grow up to 4 feet tall and about 2 to 3 feet wide, so make sure they've got lots of space. You can see I'm placing my tubers around my Adirondack chairs toward the back of my garden beds. I think they'll make a really nice backdrop in these areas. When it comes to planting the tubers, you want to make sure the soil is well draining. I'm loosening my soil with a shovel to a depth of about 12 inches. This helps aerate it, and then I'm amending it with some compost and manure. This will add a ton of nutrients for my dahlia tubers. Next, I dig a hole large enough for my tubers, and then I place them in the hole roots down so that the top is 1 inch below the soil surface. And then lastly, I cover them with soil and make sure everything's watered in thoroughly. So I'm going to repeat that same process 5 more times and get all my dahlia tubers in the ground. So let's get to it. So there we go, all my tubers are planted in, and I don't know if you could tell on camera, but it started raining, so I'm gonna do my best to quickly wrap up this video before it really starts coming down. So I know it's a little anticlimactic because there's nothing to see, but if you use your imagination, visualize with me 6 gorgeous 4-foot tall dahlia plants surrounding my Adirondack chairs. It's gonna take a few months for them to grow in and flower, but it's gonna be so worth it later on this spring. And also, it's worth mentioning if for whatever reason I'm not happy with the color placement, I can make a note of which plant is which color this season and then dig them up and transplant them into other areas of my garden next spring. So looking over here to the right of my Adirondack chairs, I planted the light pink creme de cassis and deep purple Thomas Edison tubers. Again, I'm not sure which one ended up where, but one is planted toward the front on the right side of my mulch pathway in front of my giant bird of paradise plant, and then the other is on the left side toward the back behind my white tropical sages. And then behind my Adirondack chairs is where I planted the periwinkle blue blue boy and white and lavender crazy love tubers. And then lastly, on the left side of my Adirondack chairs, I've got the magenta metro star and white country snow tubers planted just behind my pink and coral tropical sage plants. When it comes to watering, you want to make sure the soil around your tubers is consistently moist but not soggy. They actually don't need much water until they start to sprout. You basically just want to make sure the soil doesn't completely dry out. Once the plants sprout and have grown a few inches tall, you can start watering them more regularly. You'll want to water them thoroughly about 2 to 3 times a week to encourage deep root growth. And then as the dahlias grow bigger, they'll need more water, especially during hot, dry periods. The goal is to keep the soil consistently moist, and I definitely recommend mulching around your plants to help the soil retain moisture. When it comes to fertilizing, the compost and manure I worked into the soil when I planted the tubers in should be enough until the plants start sprouting. Once the plants have sprouted, I'll feed them once with a balanced water-soluble fertilizer at half strength, and then every 3 weeks following, I'll feed them at full strength throughout the growing season. I recommend this Fertilome fertilizer. It's got an NPK of 20-20-20. It promotes large blooms and deep green foliage, and I'll definitely make sure to link it in the video description for reference. So overall, I'm so excited I added all these dahlia tubers into my front garden today. They're all going to look so stunning in this space. These plants are prolific bloomers and they make excellent cut flowers, and they're going to be the perfect backdrop for my front garden beds. So I'm a complete mess, I'm all wet from the rain, but I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today, and hopefully I've inspired you to add some dahlia tubers into your spring garden. If you haven't already done so, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you can hang out with me in future videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.